Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
No one goes to Hank's for his spreadsheets. They go for a darn good pizza. Lately, though, the shop's been quiet, so Hank decides to bring back the $1 slice. He asks Copilot in Microsoft Excel to look at his sales and costs and help him see if he can afford it. Copilot shows Hank where the money's going and which little extras make the dollar slice work. Now Hank's has a line out the door. Hank makes the pizza, Copilot handles the spreadsheets. Learn more at m365copilot.com/work.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with 0 clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer-dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
This season of Pack Your Knives is presented by the Charlotte Regional Visitors Authority, and we got something special, a 6-part Savor Charlotte edition diving into the people shaping one of the South's most exciting food scenes. Charlotte's been getting a lot of national buzz lately, and for good reason. From hosting Top Chef Carolinas to its growing presence in the Michelin Guide, the city is quickly becoming a place where bold new ideas and Southern tradition come together on the plate. So go check out charlottesgotalot.com for more.
Hey, Carly. I'm curious, what is your favorite meal from Cracker Barrel?
Perhaps embarrassingly, I have never been, but I think that if I were to go, I would probably do something like super classic, like biscuits and gravy. What about you?
Yeah, I was actually looking it up, and Washington is one of the only states with 0 Cracker Barrels in it out of the whole U.S.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe not the best question, but I was curious. I haven't been in a long time, but growing up, we went, I'd go with my grandma and my aunt after we went shopping. So I would always get the chicken and dumplings, which were absolutely amazing. And I was so excited when they brought out the peg game for picking the teams, because I loved that game. That would be like the one thing I would grab as soon as we sat at the table and play around with that. So that was very fun to see that live.
Is that a strategy game? I don't know what the peg game is.
Yes. Yeah. So you have, I forget how many holes open, maybe 1. And then the goal is to jump each peg and remove one of the pegs and then have one remaining peg. And so you have to jump them in a way that you have one that's left.
Okay. Kind of like checkers, but
yeah.
different.
And you want to, it's fun to like put it in different places where the open hole is to try to do it each way. So that was fun to see.
Well, hi, everyone. Welcome back to Track Your Knives, where Kendra and I take a different take on what happened this week in the Top Chef episode. So we're going to be talking about what we're seeing in the community's power rankings, where each week you and everyone else rank folks from most likely to be eliminated to most likely to win the elimination challenge. And we've got a bonus question where most weeks it will allow you to get a bonus point. We'll talk about that. And then again, gonna plug this. The winner of the power rankings will get a chef curated meal at Sarah Bradley's Fright House.
Yes, I am so excited for that person.
I am too, because I don't think it's going to be us.
No.
But speaking of meeting chefs, Kendra, you were just in New York and you got to meet Sherry.
Yes,
what was
I
that
did.
like?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I had signed up on her website to get notifications when it opened, because the week before you had sent me her Instagram where she mentioned it was opening Thursday, and I was there on a work trip. and got the email and was like, no chance there's an opening on their opening night, but let me just email and ask. And they did have a spot. So yeah, I went in last Thursday. It was their opening night. Turns out it was their soft opening. And so they didn't even have their gas on yet, which is wild that they cooked everything on, I think they said an induction burner. And yeah. And so they, And so they were kind of just like trialing things out. They're going to do their like big bang open later in May, but wanted to just start to get some people in, get some of the food under their belt and do all of that. And so that was really fun to meet her. And my plan was like, maybe at the end, I'll just stop by. It's an open kitchen. And so she was literally right there, and say, hey, I love you on this season, and maybe like work up the courage to ask for a picture. And instead the couple next to me started talking to me and, asked like how I heard about the restaurant and mentioned like she was on Top Chef, and they had never even heard of that. They knew the owner. And so they're like, wait, what is this? And so I was talking to them and they mentioned it to the waiter, and he went and told her that I watched Top Chef. So she came out and like talked to me, and we had a little bit of a conversation about the season, and Oscar was coming up this week to hang out with her. So I've seen some pictures on their Instagram. But the food was like phenomenal. And then finding out that they don't even have like their gas on yet to fully cook in
their
their
induction burner. Geez.
Yeah. On their ovens and stoves and everything. So it was like really impressive that's what she had. But oh my God, it was so good. And then I texted you that, hey, I think Sherry's probably going to do pretty well this episode on the dessert, because it was like, I think like a coconut sorbet with a champagne like Jello under it that was like broken up. And it was so good. And then she brought out sort of this littler dish with like a chocolate mousse and whipped cream and like little crunchy bits on top, almost like, have you ever had a Dairy Queen ice cream cake?
Yes.
Yeah. So almost that like feeling of it. And she was said like, she just came up with it the day before as like an idea for a dessert, and was like handing them out for testers. And so I was like, oh man, I think she probably is going to do pretty good with these desserts. So it was really nice just to meet her. She's so sweet. And seems like pretty reserved. Like the kitchen was completely silent. Like there was no yelling, like, cause I went to, Gregory Gourdet's restaurant Tuesday, and that kitchen was loud. Like they were yelling the whole time. And, they would say, oui, when they would call out the orders, and it was so loud. And it's a much smaller space. Literally, okay. I didn't hear anyone in the kitchen talking. Like it was so quiet. And so it was very fun to do.
That's fantastic. I'm sort of getting a little bit of a mix, like those two kitchens. I forget what it's called, but that movie with Ray Fiennes, where they all go have a fancy meal on an island, and it's kind of a horror film.
Oh, yes.
Whatever that is. But yeah, I will say that your review, like when we were texting about her dessert, certainly influenced my own power rankings. And then I noticed that you did this too. We had the same top three.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. And I was laughing. I actually had her one before I even had her food. So I don't know what I was thinking beforehand, but yeah. Yeah, it was great. And just a great experience. And their staff was the sweetest, and just like constantly like talking to us and asking us things and talking about how much they love her and how collaborative she is. So anyways, it was just great to get a chance to have a chat with her. But talking about this episode, this week you put out a analysis on how desserts perform. And so since we're doing an all desserts episode, thought it might be an interesting time to talk about just desserts in general. I think this year we've seen Gwen did a dessert, and I think it was Jonathan or Brandon in that first episode. So yeah, I'd love to kind of hear about the analysis and how desserts generally do in the challenges.
Yeah, so I was looking at desserts that were made when it wasn't a requirement in an elimination challenge. So this doesn't include like when, because it was actually in a quick fire that both Brandon and Seeger made desserts, and then Brandon also made a dessert in an elimination challenge. But we're not looking at quick fires, and don't have all of the data. This is my constant caveat of it's kind of slow going to go through every single season and get the dish data, but I'm working through it. But basically what I saw is that like the being low and high was basically the same, like at the top and the bottom of an elimination challenge. Most people were in. So in general, it's not, you're doing pretty fine. But that double the amount of people were eliminated than won when they made a dessert when they didn't have to. And I excluded finale dishes because there's always going to be like a winner and a loser there. I just excluded that. But for me, what was the most interesting part is that on average, or looking at the median, the placement of chefs who at some point made a dessert when they weren't required to was a placement of 5. And that to me, like you and I talked about this episode 1, like when we were thinking about Buddha and we saw Brandon do this and we're like, is this the new skill that is almost a requirement to be Top Chef? But looking across Top Chef history, we're seeing that people who can do desserts on average are doing really well in their season.
Yeah. And I wonder too, like people who prep desserts probably prep a lot more for the season too. And so it maybe makes sense that they end up placing a bit higher too, I wonder.
Yeah,
we'll never know. Yeah. Well, that's cool. And loved reading through that and it's so impressive to me that you have all of this data. It's so hard to capture it while you're watching it. And so having to go back and like remember, like you get so caught up in it that you forget to like capture things. So I can't even imagine how long it takes you.
Yeah, my partner is so kind. Because he loves Top Chef, Tournament of Champions. While we watch all these shows together, and he pauses whenever there's a dish up on the screen. So he pauses. I type.
That's great.
He will sometimes be like, "Did you get that confessional?" And sometimes I won't because I'll be distracted doing some other data things. So like, it's definitely a team effort.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a lot of data, and some nights, Kendra, I'm like, I lie awake, and it's like midnight, and I'm like, what if I were to get up at 6 a.m. and get in 2 episodes, 3 episodes even before work, and like rewatch? But then I'm always like, but I love sleep.
Yeah.
So it's just never ending, but I never want perfect to be the enemy of good enough. Like this is a community where we're all just curious and coming to this with a sense of fun, and I at least am not going to be one of those Redditors who, and I'm on Reddit all the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm on Reddit all the time, but I'm not going to like, well, actually someone like I'm going to give you the caveats and then do with it what you will. And it's either interesting to you or it's not. And like, that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah. No judgment. Yeah. I love that. All right. This was quite an episode. We have a lot to talk about because so much happened in terms of how we're tracking the data and what is going to happen next episode. So lots to get into. First, let's talk about the Jen and Justin situation. How would you have felt if Justin had ended up staying and taking the offer to continue on?
I probably would have been okay in the sense of like, if I were to come home, like all of my sisters and now my parents, like everyone lives out here. And so I've got a really strong support network here. So I think it really is so individual as to like what is back home, and whether in particular Jen was able to go back home or to use survivor lingo if she was sort of stuck in Ponderosa to reduce spoilers. So they knew what they were getting into, that at one point or another, one of them was going to be eliminated first.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I was maybe taking a slightly different angle, but that was a very like caring way to think about that for Justin staying and going home with Jen. I think I would have been upset if Justin stayed just because Justin would be in the competition, not because of the dynamic between Jen and Justin. But I think he made the right move going and being with her and just like checking on her. I think that made a lot of sense. But I think like he has just been performing towards the bottom.
That's exactly what I was about to say too.
Entire
I think
season,
maybe
like,
it would have been different.
Yeah. Yeah. I just felt like he didn't deserve to keep going. Like Jen, I'm sad for her. Like she was performing well while being in a lot of pain. And I think had she been well, like she would have been crushing this season. So it's like such a bummer to miss out on her. And I think them offering her another season is probably part of that, is that they could tell that she was probably going to do really well in a season if she was fully healed. And so I just didn't feel like Justin like deserved to keep going. And I think there's a lot to talk about when we get into next episode and kind of what we're thinking, but not bringing in like someone in Last Chance Kitchen or a different eliminated chef, I think would have felt better. So we'll talk about that in a bit when we get to it. But yeah, I just wanted to get a sense of kind of where you were thinking with the Jen and Justin stuff. The quick fire. I was so bummed for Sherry and Oscar. They were like so close to finally getting a quick fire win. Oscar landing on top and getting some more points. And so it was bummed to see Lawrence undercooking his chicken and tanking that for them.
His chicken tendies.
I love they call it chicken tendies.
I love it. Yeah.
I couldn't believe. I knew as soon as he's like, I'm going to pull them a little early because I don't want them to be overdone. And I was like, no, don't do it.
If the edit has left that in, they're letting us know.
They're going to be undercooked. Yes. I did have one question for you because I was wondering as we were scoring the quick fire. Do you remember if they usually give an entire team in a quick fire the win, or do they usually pick one of the dishes? Like, I know we had a team win in the very first challenge, but that was like a single dish they were cooking. But these are like 3 individual dishes. Is that like traditionally how we've seen them do it?
I mean, I think so. It depends on how they've set it up, because we also saw like when they had the Josh Wine trio situation, right? The whole team, the Chicago team, Jennifer, Justin, Seeger, all won. Okay, so I think it just depends on how it's set up. I think where sometimes it gets confusing is like if you're going head to head or you're going in groups of 3, sometimes it's like, is this individual? Is it a team? So I think there's some nuances there, but I think this felt pretty standard to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess now that they don't give immunity in quickfire, it's not as important. They're just giving out cash and splitting it. So yeah, that makes sense. The last thing I wanted to talk about is they let the super fans vote for the dishes. And I felt like as the judges were talking with the super fans, they had very specific people in mind for who they thought was top 3. And so do you think that the judges' top 3 pick would have been different from what the fans voted for and like who the winner ended up being?
I think so. I mean, Tom could not get over the broken whipped cream. And then I would be the Top Chef fan that was like, it's still whipped cream to me.
This tastes so good.
It tastes great. I don't know what you're talking about. So I think there's definitely a palate differential. And like, I'm not a chef. I was not trained as a chef. I did not go to culinary school. I did not do anything. right? So I'm not going to judge someone on technicality unless it's undercooked chicken or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of undercooked, I do think Sherry's looked delicious, but from all of my years watching Great British Bake Off, I said that looked like a soggy bottom to me.
Yep.
And so I think that hers might not have done as well, and I probably maybe would have seen Brandon or honestly even Jennifer's in the
That's what I
top
was
3.
thinking. Yeah. And I think Sherry maybe gave her better options to the super fans, because it sounds like she even figured that out as she was serving the judges, that she's like, oh no, I'm giving them the thicker crust. And so I think she kind of caught it as she was serving them and realized it. So yeah, I agree. I think they seem to really like Brandon's. That was one they brought up with the fans, and then also Jennifer. So I feel like one of those would have been top. And I don't know that Anthony's would have been the one they like put at the top either, or like had been the winner pick. Because when Tom was like, you were in our top 3, but he didn't say you also were our winner pick. So I was like, I wonder if that wasn't one they were actually going to have be the win. But here we are. So speaking of winners and those going home, how did you do?
Speaking of, I totally forgot. Anthony just won the whole episode. He won the quickfire and the elimination.
Oh, yeah.
So that needs to be called out. That's really fun. He won an episode.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Speaking of winners.
Yes.
You crushed me this week.
Yes, I did. Okay, well, kind of. I got 4 more points than you, but I had Jennifer and Justin at the bottom, and
Smart.
I had Anthony in the top middle, and you had him in the bottom middle, I would say.
Yep.
But you and I had Sherry, Gwen, and then Brandon, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad. I know. I was like, Anthony can't also have like great dessert skills. And so let me put some folks up that I think maybe like it's their time to get a win and likely have good dessert skills. And so let's move them up. And then of course, he gets the win. And then I just had a bad feeling about Oscar. And so he was in the bottom, but luckily I had him at the bottom, but I'm happy he didn't go home.
Yeah.
But
Same.
I thought maybe they were tricking us with the Jennifer and Justin situation again. So I was trying not to fall for it, but this was finally the time it came true.
It did.
Oh, well. The bonus question. So I think we say this every time that we're going to get better at picking bonus questions where there's an answer and the answer is not nobody. And we failed again this week. Which is fine. So no one got any bonus points. Sorry, everybody. But we had some fun answers. So the question was, who do you think will leave an item off of the plate? And I blame the structure of this event on why no one left anything off of their plate, because it was sort of like you're serving as people are coming up. And so I'm going to blame it on the Top Chef production that we didn't get an answer for this one.
Yeah, it was interesting because there was kind of a general consensus to your point. Like you had kind of a not great or even a bad feeling about Oscar, and you put him at 9 on your power rankings. The plurality of people put Oscar as the person who would leave an element off of their plate. 30 out of the 115 players. Just behind him, Justin and then Jennifer were the next highest people to leave an element off their plate. And then there was a bit of a gap. And then Sherry, 18 people said that she would leave an element off of her plate. And honestly, this is really reflective of simply the power rankings. Like if I'm looking at this, and then because there's another gap, and then it's Jonathan, and then everyone else has only 1 or 2, then it just feels it really is mirroring how we're feeling, how we as the community are seeing the chefs as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Oscar.
Yeah.
You know you need fiber for a healthy gut, but do you actually know how to get it? Quaker's been serving up fiber since 1877, with over 100 great-tasting, good source of fiber options to choose from. Whether you like old-fashioned oats, instant oatmeal, granola, or oatmeal squares, Quaker makes it delicious. So good. Get your fiber with Quaker. Shop Quaker's good source of fiber products at a store near you.
Go further with the American Express Business Gold Card. Earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels when you book through AmexTravel.com. Whether your destination is a business conference or a client meeting, your purchases will help you earn more points for future trips. Experience more on your travels with Amex Business Gold. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
Good sleep is everything. That's why Ollie's Science Back Support is made with a blend of melatonin and L-theanine for both kiddos and grown-ups. So when your mind won't switch off, you've got something that can help. Your racing thoughts and restless nights won't stand a chance. Find Ollie Sleep Solutions for the whole family at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
Well, I'm curious. So we talked about how we did in predicting the winner and eliminated chef, but how about the rest of the group?
Yeah, so we have 13 players who got a perfect score, and the perfect score this week, excluding the bonus question, is 9 points for Anthony as the winner, 9 points for Justin or Jennifer to be eliminated, and 8 points for Jennifer or Justin or Justin or Jennifer. Like, you just got, there was a possible total of 17 points for eliminated chefs. So these folks got 17 points for Justin and Jennifer and 9 points for Anthony. And that's V Hang, Sarah Ashley, Matt, Logan R, Katie, Josh in Japan, Hannah G, Grand Gourmet, Gozetto 11, Chief Beef, Buddha Low, once again, we've determined not the actual chef, A. Tilly, and Ann N.
That's awesome. And last week we had one person or 0 people?
Yes, hold that thought. I did that today. Got both winner last week. Yeah, that's right, because it was Eric.
You said one. Mm-hmm. So big jump this week. It's awesome. Congrats, everybody. Yeah. And then in terms of the split between getting the winners correct and getting the eliminated chef correct, I think we had some pretty big numbers there too.
We did. 67 got at least one of the eliminated chefs correct. This was the biggest number since the episode when Brittany went home.
Yeah.
In that episode, 61 people had her as most likely to be eliminated, and she was eliminated. This time it was 67. So it's the highest we've seen. I think we all felt it building.
Yeah. Because Justin and Jennifer were sort of towards the bottom each week anyway. And I think the arm situation just kind of unfortunately made that the truth. So not surprised that we had a lot that got that right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then about half that, 34 got the winner correct, Anthony. Gwen was also, there were 34 people who put her as most likely to win. But yeah, so 34 folks got Anthony as the winner. When we're looking at were they in the top 3 and the bottom 3? This time, a decent number of people, what is that, a super majority, 61%. Had Anthony in their top 3. I was not expecting this, but maybe I kind of was. 98.5% of people had Justin and or Jennifer or both in their bottom 3.
Wow.
We all were yup, they're at the bottom of these power rankings.
Yeah.
So that was, I was like, oh, that is literally
yeah.
almost everyone. Scrolling back.
I messed us up, except for me. I
mean, you
bumped
at least
Jennifer up because I was like, it's Southern desserts. And like, if she doesn't go home, I think she's going to do well. And I took that bet and missed it. So here we are. Though she didn't technically get eliminated. She got withdrawn.
Something.
DQ'd.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, well, that's sad. But yeah, I did. I'm not surprised Dwen showed up in the top as well. I think her dessert in that first episode got really high reviews to the point that she was close to winning. And so I think that was a good bet that people made that she would be good here. But unfortunately, she did not. And so I was bummed to see her it seemed like she got stuck on the concept first and then kind of threw the caramel cake in versus really focusing
on the caramel.
Yeah. What was at hand. So that was a bummer to see.
Super side note, but I was very happy because the guest judge, whose name is currently escaping me, says caramel, even though everyone else at the judges table says caramel. And I just feel a little vindicated. So I like saying caramel.
I don't even remember which one I said. So
you might have said like a slight mix.
Yeah. Just so no one can know for sure where I'm coming from.
Yeah. But speaking of Dwen, I just want to say that congrats to her. She has the number 1 slot in the power rankings for the first time. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So she just eked it out over Anthony.
That's awesome. Congrats. So is she maybe the 4th? So we had, I don't remember who we had first episode, but then otherwise it's been between Anthony and Lawrence, right?
And Rhoda. So it was
Rhoda.
Anthony, Rhoda, Anthony, Lawrence, Anthony, and now Dwen.
Hey, there we go. I'm curious to see next week because, I mean, I think there's a pretty core group now where I think like Dwen's itching for a win, Sherry's itching for a win, and Brandon. So I'm excited to see how that all plays out. And I think Brandon is still the only one to never land in the bottom at all. So, yeah, this will be fun.
It will be. It's especially with I think you and I talked about this with the barbecue challenge too. Like, how do you do power rankings when there are teams, right? Do you intersperse people?
Yeah.
Do you just totally make a bet that these are going to be on top and these are going to be on the bottom? So there may be something I can do next week about how people did their power rankings. I'm going to make a note for myself.
Yeah, because let's talk about next week. So Restaurant Wars. The ending of this episode was crazy that they brought them back out and had them make their teams ahead of time.
Do they normally
do
knife
that?
Draw?
Yeah.
I forget. I do have, I think, most or some of the data about how they determine. In other cases, it would be whoever won the quick fire would be the captain and get to choose their teams. Sometimes it is knife draw. I feel like schoolyard pick without like a snake draft situation is pretty rare. I'm not sure though. I was kind of shocked because you get the brothers who immediately link up, and then the people on the left side of the room plus Dwen, who
Dwen swooped all the way over there.
Fast thinker. And so then it left Sherry and Jennifer and
Oscar and Jennifer.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I think Anthony, Sherry, and Lawrence kind of huddled together immediately, and then Dwen like beelined her way. So yeah, that was very surprising the way they did those teams. But yeah, let's do that as a follow-up next week and see kind of how they normally form that, and then also look at how people end up ranking them based on, since we already know the teams ahead of time, how those will land. But let's talk about Jen leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You need 8 people for Restaurant Wars, right?
Fun fact, no. So there have been, I thought. So Kristen's season is Seattle season 10. They had 7 people in Restaurant Wars. In season 1, they had 6. In season 10, they had 7. So, but generally speaking, it's 8 chefs.
Yeah.
And that was Kristen's season was a weird girl versus boy thing, but something weird happened where I can't remember. But yeah, so it's possible they'll do that, or
if you haven't watched Last Chance Kitchen yet, this is your warning that we may be spoiling that. Just a heads up. But yeah, where's Seeger? Is Seeger going to be the 8th chef, which is why he's not in Last Chance Kitchen? That's what we need to know.
Yeah, that's my guess. My original thought when it seemed like Justin was saying no to coming back is that they would have like a, like MTV's The Challenge, like a battle back, or like I think that's where that lingo comes from, where someone would, fight for the win and then come back in for Restaurant Wars. But they've already promised us that there's only one opportunity to come back in from Last Chance Kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think that's what's happening. And again, spoiler for Last Chance Kitchen, we don't see Seeger. And so there's a 2-day lapse, they said, between when Justin said no and when Justin went to LCK. I think in that intervening time, they asked Seeger as the previous person to be eliminated. I believe that Last Chance Kitchen is filmed very close to when the eliminated chef comes back in.
Yeah,
it's not like they're spending 3 days in between challenges.
Yeah.
So that's why Seeger hasn't showed up.
Yeah, because they've likely started filming it right around Restaurant Wars, and they already needed to fill that spot before they had started the filming, but they couldn't skip a Last Chance Kitchen episode. So the theory we have is that Seeger's potentially going to fill that open spot. So we will see and find out next week. But I think there's also rumblings on Reddit and elsewhere that this is potentially what will happen. And so what we decided is you will be able to rank Seeger this episode in the power rankings. If he does come in, then great. If he does not, we'll just remove that as a slot and then we'll score it on 7 chefs instead of 8. So we'll see how that works out. But we've got a note in there so that that's clear. But this is the guess that we're going to take on what happens. And in case Seeger were to win or go home, we wanted to make sure we were getting points for that if he did come in. So that is what's going to happen. And we'll see. That's been the biggest mystery of the season so far. So I've heard people calling it Seeger Gate. So we'll see what happens. All right. Well, fantasy leagues. So one note I wanted to make about scoring and the decision we made, just so everyone is clear. For power rankings, we did count Jennifer going home. So wherever you ranked her, you got that many points for an eliminated chef. However, for fantasy leagues, because she was removed from the competition and she didn't get eliminated, we gave her the points for staying and being in the middle, and then did not give her points for being eliminated. And I just listened to Sarah and Tom's podcast a little bit earlier. They did the same thing. So I think we're in agreement on no negative points for Jen. We're sad she's leaving. and don't want to give her any more negative knocks for that. So that's where we landed. What about other interesting things happening in fantasy leagues?
Yeah. The brothers are sort of in an interesting spot. Brandon is the only chef who has never been on the bottom of an elimination challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan is the only one who has never been on the bottom of a quick fire.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Yeah, I think it speaks to, there's this idea of there are people who are good at quick fires and there are people who are good at elimination challenges, and they're not always the same people. And so that's also something I could look into. Good at quick fire. And sorry for the pause. I was just writing that down. That really stood out to me. What also stood out to me is Sherry's strength, honestly, that Sherry has been at the top of 4 elimination challenges but hasn't won yet. And Brandon has been at the top 3 times and hasn't won. And this speaks to something that I posted, I don't know when. Sometime, I think in the past week, where it's not just about your win rate that makes you a strong chef. It is burned in my brain that Melissa King in All Stars had a 41% win rate. But with Dwen, with Sherry, with Brandon, they are doing really well, even if they're not necessarily winning. And so that's where, they are slowly and steadily getting points.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just tiny things where they're not getting the win. But I think, so we've got Anthony with 2 wins, Lawrence with 2 wins, and Rhoda with 2 wins.
And then Seeger with 1.
Seeger with 1, yeah. So I think it's time for someone besides Anthony or Lawrence to take a win, though I'm going to say that, and then one of them is going to crush it again because they're amazing. So we'll see. But I'm rooting for one of the others. But it's great to see how often they've been toward the top.
Yeah. Yeah. And Anthony and Lawrence have really been vying. They've just been going up and up towards, and anyway, they've, for the past couple of episodes, they've really been just gaining points and at the top. Lawrence has been topping the fantasy league points since episode 3 and has always been above Anthony except for in episode 5, which should have been one of Anthony's. Yeah, that was a wins.
And then I think Lawrence was maybe in the bottom.
Yep.
That week. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're very impressive. And I think we're just going to start seeing where power rankings and fantasy league points diverge. I feel like they've been pretty closely connected. And now that we're down to 8 chefs, the ability to predict is going to get harder and harder, I think. Yeah. Because there's now going to start being upsets, and those upsets will be reflected in the fantasy league points, and then power rankings, I think, are going to be different.
Yeah, I agree. Interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. How are the different teams doing in terms of all of their points?
Yeah, so I like to do this in honor of the chefs that have been eliminated, to call out the teams that have those chefs and that they're still doing well. So the teams that drafted Justin, the ones that are doing the best in terms of the standardized score per chef drafted are Team 1 of League YFL, Team 2 of Top Chef Edgewood, Molly's team on Notion League, Cream of some young guy on Colonel D's league. And then in 5th place is Sarah's team.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's Sarah's just she drafted well. And in terms of the teams that drafted Jennifer, a Knott's team on League Burt Chefs, Based Mode on League There's No Crying in the Kitchen, the Rue Rogues on League Meatballs, the Great Emmy-sification of Top Chef 23 Fantasy League, and M. Croissant on Pack Your Knives 10 are the ones that are doing best of the teams that have Jennifer on them.
Nice. I'm impressed you can read all of those names. Some of them I was like getting nervous for reading them off, but it crushed it. And how are our friends on the Pack Your Knives teams doing?
Yeah. I just love that people felt comfortable and were like, hey, like I want to join a league. I don't know who to join, and I'm really happy to be running these leagues for everyone. So the ones that are doing really well right now, and so these are teams of 5 chefs each. Risotto Curse on PYK 4. Again, M. Croissant from PYK 10 is doing well. Dumpling from PYK 7. Coasters on PYK 6. So congrats to you all. Very happy to be running your league.
Yes, I love that. And I love that they all named their teams. And I think I'm finding like as we're going along, it seems like people are updating their team names because we're getting less of like team 1 or team 3.
They are.
So I love seeing that.
Yeah, and in the Tableau dashboard that I use to sort of underlie my analysis, I need to check the update date of some of these names, but when I see that there are 2 names with the same ID, I just choose one. Based Mode is one of them. I forget what the other one was, but I liked Base Mode better, so that's my bias. If you used to be Base Mode and now you're something else, sorry, but I'm still shouting you out. Let me know and I can change it.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think it's our time. So just a quick reminder, submit your rankings on findtopchef.com. This week's bonus question, there will be an answer to because we covered all of our angles. So will the winning Restaurant Wars team serve the judges first, second, or will the judges split and eat at the same time? So we will have an answer next week. And I'm sure, Carly, you have analysis on this as well that we can talk about. So we will do
Restaurant
that.
Wars is full of data.
Yes, looking forward to that. Make sure you check out all of the great content on packyourknives.com, like the dessert analysis that Carly did. And don't miss Tom and Sarah's episode recaps. Those are always fun to listen to. And turns out Tom was at Restaurant Wars. So he is going to share his information. I think he maybe just did the takeout, but he has some deets that he'll share next week on that experience. So don't miss that.
And this has been Track Your Knives.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Refresh the rooms you love for spring with Pura. Our collection of floral, citrus, and fresh scents brings a light, airy feel to every space, like opening the windows on the first warm day of the season. From soft blooms to bright citrus, each scent is designed to capture the energy of spring and make your home feel renewed, effortless, and alive. Learn more at pura.com.